Maury has come here today to deliver a public service announcement about Rashad to all of the women who are watching our show.
If y'all see this guy, do not sleep with him. He will get y'all.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
Daggone. Okay, look, that's a look at one of the most famous daytime TV shows of all time, Maury.
Guys, it's now in its 21st season. Let's give a big New York welcome for Maury right here, coming out with us on the plaza.
Nice to see you.
You too. Natalie. How did this come about that this is not your daddy? Like, when did you know that this was something?
What happened was, I mean, this started kind of early on in the show's history, and I think what happened was somebody said, we want to do a paternity test. I said, okay. And so the producer's briefing me, and they said, so here's the story, and here's the result of the paternity test. I said, I don't want to know the result.
Good.
I don't want to know anything more than they know, my guests or my live audience or the audience at home, because we would skew the questions. You know how it is if you know more than somebody else. And that's been the, you know, the signature line ever since, because I'm as surprised as anybody else. So when I say you are the father, you are not the father, it's genuine.
The fights that erupt, though, and the drama. What was the craziest thing that ever happened?
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, I want to give a shout out, thank you very much, to the White House today, because according to Politico, with all the chaos in the White House, apparently one of the aides told Politico, it looks like a Maury episode around here without the paternity test. So I want to, you know,
you made it
thank you very much, Mr. President.
Little plug.
But I'd say the craziest thing was, there was a woman who was accusing a guy of being the father of her twins, and I open up the envelope, and I find out he's the father of one, but not the other.
Oh, I remember this.
Wait,
how? This was like a weird...
Fraternal twins.
Wait a minute.
That can happen.
What?
Absolutely.
I remember that episode. That was crazy.
Yeah, it's like I looked around, and my staff said the doctor said it was 1,000,000 to 1 shot, and it came in on the Maury Show.
Oh, my gosh.
You should have got a lotto ticket.
And are we doing something now where we're going back and seeing the paternity test, sort of the kids where they are now?
We've been doing it so long when you think about it. Yeah. So, okay, so I do a show where I tell the guy who's denying he's the father. What happens 15 years later? Now this child, this infant, is 15, 16 years old. Did the father get into the child's life? Because we all know if there are two parents in a family with a child, they got a better chance at success. Yeah. Not only did he get involved with the child, he married the woman, and they had 2 more children.
I love that.
How's that? So that's where I
ending.
rest my case. You know, if people say, oh, you're pushing the envelope, it's exploitive and everything else, I said, that's ridiculous. If I can get enough men to get involved with these kids when I prove that they're the father, you know,
you're doing social good.
And
Yes.
it's a free DNA test.
There you go.
Exactly. You have to pay for that.
You know, those 23andMe and all that costs money. You get a free one on Maury in Connecticut. We'll take it.
Thank you very much. Very good.
Yeah.
What about at home? You and Connie have been married for over 30 years, 30 years?
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, 34 maybe this next month.
Wow, how do you keep it spicy, Maury?
Well, Connie has the answer, and that is we never do anything together.
That's very spicy.
And I always say, you know, whatever discussions we have during the day, heated or not, it all ends once the head hits the pillow. And so we just, you know, and secondly, you know, I've always taken the attitude that for the last 34 years, I'm known as Mr. Chung, and that's just fine with me.
Well said, Maury.
Well, have you ever thought about maybe a throuple?
Oh, yeah. Do you know about this?
What's that?
So there's this new thing where a single person gets involved with a married couple. It's called a throuple. We just learned about it this morning.
Man,
this could be on
a whole new episode of Maury.
You mean just to bring somebody into the relationship?
You date an open relationship.
It's a closed relationship, but with another person.
I think my wife might like it, but I'm not too sure.
Can we get Connie on the phone?
Call Connie.
Call Connie.
I think she would be that would be adventurous for her.
Is Connie calling you right now?
Oh, God, okay.
The phone is ringing.
Oh, no.
Let's answer.
No, believe it or not, it's my lawyer.
He said, you better not talk about no troubles on this TV show. I get it.
And you've got this bar.
Maybe it's my divorce lawyer.
Oh, no. I'm taking this down.
Uh-oh.
You've got your bar in D.C. When you show up there, Maury, what's the reception like?
Well, first of all, it's a restaurant that Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon, two great ESPN talents, and I and one other fella own. And believe it or not, the bar has history for me because it was next to the station I started at. And the rumor was that I used to come in there and drink before and after the 10 o'clock news.
Wait, I got to ask you, Maury, when he sat down, I said, were you ever out in L.A.? You said you were there briefly.
Yeah,
what
I got to turn this
thing off. But your lawyer's calling you
I mean, this is ridiculous.
Let's answer.
Look, I'm on Access Hollywood right now, okay, Steve? I'll call you after the show.
Yes, Steve.
Send me the bill, Steve.
And don't please charge me for this phone.
That was real, by the way.
What happened in L.A.? What happened, Maury?
Well, believe it or not, Connie was anchoring in L.A.
Yeah.
And by that time, she was the big star. I was hired as her second banana. I kind of bounced around for the 6 o'clock news on Channel 2, the CBS station in L.A. And so I get there, and I'm hired, and the guy who hires me is fired. A new guy comes in, and 6 months later, he fires me. So my experience in Los Angeles is not memorable.
I get it.
Well, you're memorable, Maury.
No, but you guys,
Who would fire Maury?
No, yeah. Right.
I tell you, I'm not firing Maury Chung, his new name. We have a celebrity version if you are not the father to play. Sit tight. Much more with Maury.
How good
coming up.
With that face.